Hey everyone, welcome back to Patriot Ridge Farm. I am finally back. It's been a while, a little over 2 weeks since I put a video out, but as you can see, this is one of the many things that's kept us busy, and one of the things that's actually kept me away from making videos. Really been a daylight to dark thing with me, even after dark, with a lot of this stuff. We've had a couple things happen with the house and some household stuff, and then my truck is down. We're hopefully getting that resolved as we speak. They finally figured out what was the cause of it. So with that, and just trying to keep up with everything, it's just been, videos have not been my priority. So we're completely done with the well. It's finally done. Frost freeze in place. I think I've showed you guys all that. I think I did that in the last couple of videos. Getting ready. I've got three boars here to castrate this coming weekend. I'm not looking forward to that, but has to be done. So I've got 3 males I need to castrate. I ordered these little piggy holders, little castration restrainers. So hopefully that'll make it a little bit more smoother, but unfortunately it still is the process in and of itself. We processed chickens just this past Saturday. We did 38 of them. This time I had a huge order for specialty cuts, and we decided we would go ahead and start doing specialty cuts anyways. And when I put that information out there, man, whew, what an order. So, kind of reviewing some videos and stuff, and refreshing myself on cutting chickens up and everything. Boneless, skinless breast, boneless, skinless thighs, leg quarters, split breasts. I mean, you name it, we were doing it. And we even kept a bunch of the carcasses, because we're going to take those carcasses, we're going to make some chicken stock and pressure can it. And we're also going to make some bone broth and stuff and pressure can it. So we're not going to let the carcasses go to waste at all. So yeah, specialty cuts, if you raise chickens and you sell them as meat chickens and everything like that, and you're not doing specialty cuts, I'm going to highly encourage you to look into that and start doing that, because it seems to be a bigger demand in that, because apparently, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, but evidently a lot of people just don't like to cut up chicken. They don't like to buy a whole chicken and cut it up themselves, or they just don't know how. And truth be told, I mean, when we cut up meat and everything like that, when I was a meat cutter, the piglets are chasing each other. They're all running around playing. We didn't do chickens. We did beef, pork, and that was pretty much it, but and deer. But I had to refresh my memory by watching a couple YouTube videos and stuff like that on how to cut up, make the specialty cuts, make sure I was doing it the right way and wasn't just completely, pardon the expression, butchering up the cuts. How you doing, little one? They're cute. I tell you, this is a joy right here. I never knew little piglets like this. I never spent as much time with them as I have since we had them here, and they're an absolute joy, and they're a riot. They're so funny. But anyway, sorry, this weather, the extreme changes that we've had here recently is just wreaking havoc on me. But anyways, so yeah, specialty cuts, that's the way to go. Trust me, it's a little bit more work. It takes a little bit more time, but that's the way to do it. And of course, we're vacuum sealing all of our specialty cuts. And I think I only got 10 whole chickens left. Out of 38 of them, I think we've only got like 10 whole chickens, maybe even less at this point. But that's something that we're going to continue to do. And of course, as we do more and more and more, we'll get more proficient at it, and a lot more comfortable with it. So we've got 75 more coming the week of September the 11th, and I'll run them up until about the first week of November. Typically the weather stays good here, decent up until then, usually 40s at the coldest. But with El Nino coming in like they're predicting and everything, we're looking at some more extreme weather patterns and everything like that coming in. It is what it is. You can't change the weather, so we're just going to deal with it. But hopefully run them into the fall, and that'll be the last batch we do for the year. And we got 75 of them to do, so that'll be a busy weekend. But anyways, we'll do as we need to do here. The other thing is I've been spending a lot of time doing a lot of research, a lot of reading, trying to learn some stuff here, and talked to a local business attorney and also a tax preparer. And what we were encouraged to do was take the main farm, the Patriot Ridge Farm LLC, and change it from a 2-member owner, me and my wife, to a single member owner. So I put it in her name, changed that, and then refiled that with the Secretary of State's office. So now she is the owner manager of Patriot Ridge Farm LLC. And then I'm going to form a second LLC. Haven't decided on the name of it yet. I'm going to form a second LLC that will lease. So Patriot Ridge Farm LLC will become the holding company per se, and the landowner, the holding company, and then the other LLC will lease. So we'll actually have to have a lease agreement between the two, and pay a lease from one account to the other, in order to make it a two business LLC like that. And that way that improves our tax burden, because it's less money in getting the taxes prepared. It doesn't require a 1065, which is, according to the tax preparer, anywhere from $750 to $1,000 just to do that one form. So it eliminates that by making it a one person or a one owner manager LLC, each one of them. And then it also decreased liability risks and everything like that. So if somebody would come after the one company, it gives you added protections and everything like that for any reason that may arise. And I guess it's a very common practice. So not only with just agricultural businesses and farm businesses, it's I guess a very common practice, especially here in West Virginia for whatever reason. And I guess it's just mainly because of the tax burden and the decreased risks. So I had some pretty strong storms come through yesterday, knocked out power and internet to a lot of people. Our power flickered, otherwise we were good, and we've got a home standby generator, so if power goes off in 10 seconds, it's up and running, we got power back. But a lot of social media posts here locally on a lot of the town and city Facebook pages and stuff. People just absolutely losing their freaking minds about being without power or internet for 8, 10, 12 hours and stuff. And I mean, it was crazy. It really was, because I'm sitting there reading it and I'm like, what are you guys going to do when there's a real disaster, when something really bad happens, that you're out for days or weeks? And that's where the preparedness side of me comes out. And I'm going, I understand not everybody can raise animals and be as self-sufficient as we are at this point, and self-reliant. You can't do, a lot of stuff that we do, but simply because of where they live and how they live. But daggone people, I mean, you got to be a little bit more resilient. You got to be a little bit more hardy. Because when that happens, when something really bad happens, and especially with El Nino and the increased weather patterns and the severity of the weather patterns that they're predicting with this, there's going to be a lot of people hurting when this weather starts kicking in, especially this winter, if we get the storms and stuff that you're talking about. I mean, all you got to do is look back a couple years ago when Texas had that big freeze, completely wiped out their freaking power grid. I mean, just completely wiped it out. And, there's people who don't have even a gas generator. There's people who don't have more than a couple days worth of food in their house. A lot of people just buy their meals each day. They do a lot of DoorDash, Grubhub, and they do a lot of takeout and just, pick up on the way home and stuff. And when it comes, something bad comes, and it's always a possibility, no matter what it is, a lot of folks are going to suffer. So I don't know what it's going to take to get this society to get kicked in the butt. But also, you're looking at huge decreases in manpower. Every agency, every business in the state of West Virginia is understaffed, undermanned. The Department of Highways is severely undermanned. Of course, their pay isn't the greatest in the world. Every police agency in the state of West Virginia, state police, counties, sheriff's departments, municipalities, small cities and small towns, they're all undermanned. They're all undermanned. I was talking to the sheriff of the neighboring county, and I've been acquainted with him for a few decades, and I mean, he's been in law enforcement for over 30 years, and he's a sheriff now. And he told me, he said, Mike, we just had a test for the sheriff's department to hire new deputies, and I think they had 26 people apply, and 26 people showed up for the test. Not one person passed the test out of 20. And he told me, he said, in all my years in law enforcement, he said, I've never seen that. So not one person passed the test. So they have actually no qualified candidates to hire on. There was a huge fiasco here just a few months ago with West Virginia State Police and their leadership, and their command, and that turned out to be a crap storm, and that didn't help the matters that they have with understaffing and everything like that. And the county that I live in, they're undermanned, and they can't get out, they can't do patrols. Hell, there's hardly any traffic patrols anymore, hardly ever any traffic patrols. To see a police officer sitting alongside the road, The one local municipality, you see them all the time. The one city up here, you see them all the time. But other than that, they just don't have the manpower. So, you know, all of us who live out here, it's on us. You know, try that in a small town. That may be a little late to the game here, but honest to goodness, try that in a small town. I've been told before and was just reinforced talking to the other sheriff. He said, Mike, he said, you got to do what you got to do to protect your own. He said, because police officers can't be everywhere, and especially when they're undermanned. What are you going to do? So, you know, you have to take matters in your own hands sometimes to protect yourself, defend yourself and your family. And, you know, hope and pray to God it never comes to that. But, hey, this society, the violent crime has increased tenfold. I mean, just there in less than a month, there was 3 shootings just here locally. There was that's the electric fence. You guys should know that by now. There was 4 armed individuals did a home invasion down in Morgantown, and that's 30 miles, you know, north of here. So, and the crime down there is just ridiculous. So, you know, it's bleeding out into the rural areas. It has been for quite a long time, but it's just getting worse. I went to downtown, the county seat of the neighboring county, when was that? Oh, when I picked up the Niederreiners, I went down to the post office down there and took my lunch to go down there and get my chickens. And just the people, the walking dead in downtown, and just hanging out, sitting around on the street corners, on the sidewalks, on the benches, just taking up space, just and completely just drugged out of their minds. And you can see that. I mean, you see somebody on drugs, you know what I mean? So just the amount of that I seen just completely took me back. And that's when I was talking to the sheriff. I said, man, I was just down there, and I said, my God, I said, in the middle of the freaking day, I said, what I seen down there, I never ever thought I would see. It's feeding time. And he said, if you think it's bad down here during the day, he said, you ought to come down in town at night. And I said, no, thank you. I don't want any part of that. I don't want any part of that kind of society. I don't want any part of that part of society. I don't want my children to have any part of that society. I'm not being a helicopter parent, but this is not a society I can just say, well, let them take their knocks and their bumps and their bruises and to learn from it. Hell no. Hell no. This is not something that they need to learn from to get, involved in that kind of stuff. They need to be told, they need to be educated, they need to be warned. Look, this is bad. You need to stay away from this. And I'm not going to expose them to that directly, nor will I ever encourage them to get exposed to that directly and, take any chances, because people just don't care anymore. People do not care anymore. There is no values. There's no morals. A good friend of mine and I were talking a couple weeks ago, and he told me, he said, Mike, he said, I understand why you don't come off the mountain. He said, I understand why you do what you do. And he said, I would love to be able to do that as much as you do. And I said, well, I'll be honest with you. I said, I don't miss people. I said, I don't miss people at all. And he says, you know what? He said, I miss good people. And I said, you know what? You're exactly right. I said, I miss good people. And I said, they are far and few between. So, you continuously hear about the silent majority, the good folks who have, good morals, good values, good humanities, take care of their neighbors and stuff like that. And you always hear so much about the silent majority. Man, when are you going to wake up? Stop being silent. Stand up. Stand up for your rights. Quit worrying about offending somebody. Quit worrying about hurting somebody's feelings. Man, if you got good morals and values that you stand on, stand firm on them. Get those, let people know. No, I don't believe in that. I don't tolerate that. I don't want a part of that. I don't want my children to experience that. I don't want my children to be exposed to that. And I don't want you telling or trying to teach my children that that's okay, whatever your beliefs are in that matter. But I'm not going to expose my kids to it. My kids will stay right here. I'll raise them here. They'll socialize in school until that becomes a problem. And when that becomes a problem, we will homeschool them. Right now, they are at a good school. They've got good teachers. They've got good teachers, good moral teachers. I ain't got no problems with. They're not pushing the agendas that we hear so much about anymore. As soon as that crap starts, my kids will come home and they'll get homeschooled. And I will do whatever I have to do to keep them away from that stuff, because my kids are going to be raised with the morals and values that I was raised with. They're going to be raised with the work ethic that my wife and I were raised with. They're going, they're going to learn that this part of life, this lifestyle, the country lifestyle, the farming lifestyle, the homesteading lifestyle, raising your own animals. Again, 80 to 90% of my food is my goal for 2024. 80 to 90% of my food is going to come from right here. That's what I want. Mommy, you need to roll over and feed them piglets. That's what all the ruckus was about. So, you know, and that's what I want my kids to learn. I want them right there with us doing that. And that's why I'm real anxious to get the high tunnel done. Even if I get the high tunnel built this year, we're not going to have time to grow in it and everything like that yet. But next year, come growing season, actually even earlier, we'll cross the fence here, pardon. That's a sensitive spot. They're going to be right out there in that high tunnel with us. I'm going to show them how to do it, how to do the rows, how to do the compost. Hey, I'm composting everything. I got a huge compost pile out there, and well, it's growing, but I got a big compost pile out there right now. I'm just waiting to put that in that high tunnel when we get it done. So hopefully if I order the high tunnel this week, if we can work out the logistics, I'm going to put a delay on delivery until September, and then we can start working on it in September and just get it erected and have it ready to go, get it certified, and then come next spring, we'll start planting in it. And the way that our raised beds are producing this year, we're going to have plenty enough to can up again and get that pantry stocked back up, or even overstocked to, you know, more than what it currently is. And with raising our chickens, pigs coming up probably, I don't know, 7 months, so probably be next February-ish. They should all be at butcher weight. And yeah, we're going to stock our freezers. Chickens coming up, we'll process them in November. Hey, again, 80 to 90% of what my food is going to come from right here next year. So the next thing on the list is I ordered that chicken coop, and I think it's like a dog cage type chicken coop. Got a roof and everything on it. It's I think it's 9.5 feet wide and 13.5 feet long. So we were going to actually get started on it this evening, but of course, life. So we want to get that together. We'll do that over the next couple evenings. I want to get it moved out here in this middle field here where the chickens are currently at, just the breeders, the big Cornish cross that we're raising for breeders. Oh, by the way, I'm getting eggs now. At least one of them's laying eggs, so they're getting close to maturity. But I'm going to put them out here and just keep them on the grass. And the coop that I got, it's as wide as these Suscovich tractors are long. So I can actually keep them on one spot for 2 days, depending on what their manure load is. And I can just move them every other day or every third day, depending on how their manure load is. But keep them out here, keep them on grass. They're getting really big. I'm only feeding them like just under a full scoop a day, or every 24 hours. And if I can get them out here and even cut that feed down and let them forage more and eat on grass, I think that'll help, you know, get a little bit of that size, not so much gigantic size, but get them down to a little bit of weight loss and get them more mobile, get them more physical, because unfortunately they have been in the Suscovich chicken tractor since we put them out here, and that's what they've been raised in. So give them more room, give them more forageability, and hopefully that'll help them and get a better bird. Anyways, I won't keep dragging this out. All I'm going to tell you guys, man, I want as far away from this society as I can possibly get. I want to raise my kids in a safer environment. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what we're trying to do, and that's how I'm going to keep it. This world's just gone freaking crazy, and I'm done with it. I'm done with it all the way around. So we're just going to do our little farm business, raise our own food, and we're just going to say piss on the rest of them. That's just how it's going to go until the silent majority actually wakes up, quits being silent, and we take back our country, and we start getting those morals and values instilled back in our society, and people are actually become responsible for their actions, and there's actual consequences to their actions. Hey, we're safe and secure right here. And if they bring it here, well, you know how the song goes. Try that in a small town. Anyways, I'll leave it at that. As always, get and stay prepared. Stay free. God bless y'all.